We're loading. Give me a minute.
It's good.
Okay, well, I don't have to wait for that.
No, I already said.
All righty. All right, we're recording. You can go.
Great. Good morning. Happy Thursday, January 9th to everyone. I hope everyone's staying safe and warm. The Transportation and Commerce Committee meeting will now come to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Spencer.
Present.
Alderman Narayan.
Here.
Alderwoman Schweitzer. Alderman Browning.
Present.
Chair Cone.
Present.
Alderwoman Schweitzer. We have 4 present. We have quorum.
Thank you. With that, we will move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the approval of the meeting minute from December 10th, 2024. I'll entertain a motion on approval of the meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk, before we get into roll call, Alderwoman Schweitzer just messaged saying that she's in the meeting but not listed as a panelist. Is there a way that we can have her moved over, please?
Yes. That was Alderwoman Spencer and seconded by Browning, correct?
That's correct. Is Alderwoman Schweitzer on?
Yes.
Okay, great. So it's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 9th Ward, seconded by the Alderman from the, the Alderwoman from the 8th Ward, seconded by the Alderman from the 9th Ward, that we approve our meeting minutes from December 10th, 2024. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Spencer.
Aye.
Alderman Narayan.
Aye.
Alderwoman Schweitzer.
Aye.
Alderman Browning.
Aye.
Chair Cone.
Aye.
We have 5 aye votes.
Thank you. With that, you sustain the motion to approve the meeting minutes from December 10th. We have one board bill that's on the agenda for today. That is the MOU with Southwest Airlines that the director has asked us to consider this morning, as it's a fairly time-sensitive arrangement. And with that, I will turn it over to the director to fill us in on all of the details related to Board Bill 142.
Thank you, Chairman Cone. And first of all, just thank you all for agreeing to meet. I know everybody's busy, and but this is very time sensitive and something that literally we've been working on for, I think, 6 years, and it keeps morphing. So I'm going to have Antonio Strong present Board Bill 142, and then we both will be available for any questions that come about. So Antonio, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, good morning, Transportation and Commerce Committee members. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so good. So we're presenting this amended and restated agreement of the memorandum of agreement between Southwest Airlines and the city for improvements to the Terminal 2 outbound baggage handling system. And to give you a little bit of background, as the director mentioned, this has been a long project that is expanding over more than 8 years at this point in time. So the project actually started prior to the pandemic as an expansion to the baggage carousels in Terminal 2. In the year 2017, 2018, we actually sold a few bonds to help with that baggage carousel expansion. But shortly after that, Southwest wanted to expand the facility to a more robust facility of about 11,000 square feet. But as we all know, the pandemic hit in 2020, delaying the project. And now we're at the point where we're ready to move forward with the project. But we're also now at a point where we are currently in negotiations for a potential new facility in the future. So that facility may not exist in the future, but Southwest would still like to do an expansion of the baggage handling system to help improve the baggage handling in Terminal 2. So the scope of the project has changed from an 11,000 square foot facility to a smaller footprint of an additional 5,254 square feet of space in Terminal 2 to handle the baggage handling in the Terminal 2. So several discussions were held between the city and Southwest over many months over the past year or so to come to an agreement over this project scope change. Southwest will fully finance and construct the improvements planned for the baggage area, except for the design costs, which were previously agreed to be paid for by the city and the airport. So ownership of all of these improvements will eventually transfer to the city when it is completed. There's an 18-month construction time frame for this facility. So as the chairman mentioned, it is kind of time sensitive. So once we do approve this, it'll be an 18-month construction time frame for this facility, which will also help improve baggage handling in Terminal 2. So at this time, we are respectfully requesting your approval of this memorandum of agreement between the city and Southwest Airlines.
Chairman Cohen, if I may, I do have one additional comment on this just to bring everybody into the loop. You know, as the lifespan of this project obviously is going to be shortened if we get the construction to proceed with the terminal. So that was the biggest reason that Southwest wanted to kind of internally decide, do we still want to spend 20 or $25 million on a system that may only be in place for the next 5 or 6 years? I think one important thing to know is that while they didn't do the full project, which was adding carousels for pickup by the passengers and the outbound, they did deem that the outbound was really needed for them to be able to help their ramp crews from a baggage loading perspective and just being able to get into the facility to get the bags out. So the fact that they decided to go ahead and authorize or spend on because it is on their dime, 20 or 25 million, depending on the final project, I think is just a good sign of the partnership that we have here with Southwest and the commitment that they have to the St. Louis region. That's a lot of money to spend for a project that would normally see a 20-year lifespan that's going to see, you know, maybe a third of that lifespan. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that I think it's the ongoing relationship and partnership that not only the airport, but the whole region has with Southwest that finally decided to move forward with this project.
Thank you, Director. I know we had a fairly robust conversation about this at the Airport Commission meeting as well. Can you just, either yourself or Antonio, can you elaborate on, you know, the funds and how this is being paid for a little bit more?
Antonio, I'll turn that back to you.
Yeah, so this will be paid for fully by Southwest. Once we get approval and we start construction costs, Southwest will fully pay for this project. As I mentioned, though, design costs will be paid by the airport. So yeah, so we'll be fully paid for by Southwest.
Yeah.
And those design costs have already been spent. I mean, the baggage system was already designed. You know, like I said, this has been a long-going project, so there are some tweaks to that design just because they're not building the complete thing. But those design costs were paid for actually a couple of years ago already. But the construction side of it is where Southwest will do that. And we initially were going to sell bonds, and they were going to reimburse us through rates and charges. But then they decided that they would just do it on their own for expediency, because they will actually get the contractor, bring it in, and it will allow it to be a little speedier than the process we go through.
Great, thank you. I just wanted to make sure that we were clear about that. I'll take questions from the committee. Vice Chair Spencer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't have any questions. I'm grateful to see this investment on the part of Southwest.
Alderman Narayan.
No questions. Thank you.
Alderwoman Schweitzer.
Thank you for being here this morning and presenting this and for the thorough explanation. And I've read the MOU and it seems like the city is held harmless and they're doing all the work. So that's a good place to be in, I feel like. So I appreciate you being here and thanks for the time and presentation.
Alderman Browning.
No questions. Just thank you for all your work, Rhonda and Antonio and everybody else over at the airport team. Just see all the good work you're doing and really appreciate your investment in our city.
Okay, if there's no further questions, I'll entertain a motion on Board Bill 142.
I move that we pass Board Bill 142 with a due pass recommendation.
Second.
Second, previous roll.
It's been moved by the Alderman from the 8th, seconded by the Alderman from the 9th, that we pass Board Bill 142 out with a due pass recommendation. There's been a request for previous roll. Is there any objection to previous roll? Hearing and seeing none, Board Bill 142 passes out of committee with a due pass recommendation. We don't have any other items on the agenda. All members are present. I don't have any follow-up conversations for the committee at this point. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, previous roll.
It's been moved by the Alderman from the 8th, seconded by the Alderman from the 1st that we adjourn. There's been a request for previous roll. Any objection to previous roll? Seeing none, we stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for your time this
Thank
morning.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.